We are once again on the precipice of a massive update, and Trader Steve is in the endgame now, which means we can feasibly take advantage of an absolutely insane moneymaker on release, that being the new Delve boss. In the last episode, we unlocked all of the quest and skill requirements to complete the Final Dawn quest on release. There's just one problem. I have no idea how many chunks we're gonna need to unlock the new quest. There's no way to know. We're certainly gonna have to unlock some brand new areas, but we may have to go to some existing spots that now have a quest requirement from the Final Dawn. So we're ready to do the quest, but we have no money, and we need to bankroll a ton of chunks before this update drops if you want to do an release. Why hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Trader Steve's journey across Gielinor to collect as many rare items as he can get his grubby little mitts on. Trader Steve is starting his journey in the Grand Exchange chunk, but for every new rare item he can add to his collection that's worth more than 1 mil, he can unlock a new adjacent chunk, with Trader Steve's ultimate goal, obtaining a quest cape. So the Perilous Moons might be done, but we are now 100% broke, and we have to figure out how much money do we need to save up here. I don't know. Looking at Varlamore here, we have about a dozen chunks unlocked, but if I'm being honest with myself, I don't see how the Final Dawn takes less than 10 new chunks. It could be more than that potentially, but with the addition of the Talati Rainforest to the west, and us not even having touched the Avium Savannah and Alderan, 10 is probably at least what we need. The only problem is the chunks are so expensive. We're now looking at like 20 or 30 mil items, which means we gotta save up so much money and fast. It's an item, but goddamn, I wish that was a piece of oath plate. 50 mil split would have been pretty helpful right about now. A 3 mil split, less so. Ah well, we got 2 horns now. Okay, let's look at our bank here because I was being a little dramatic. We actually still have like 100 mil in the bank, which is a pretty solid start, but that's like 3 items. So we're gonna need more than that. Now for the last year at least, PVM has been the main way I've made money. It's just because skilling methods don't usually come anywhere close. With the addition of Yama, there actually is a skilling moneymaker that definitely competes with the high-end PVM potential. Now we're pretty close to being able to do it, we just need some smithing levels, so we're gonna buy, 15,000 gold ore. There's 80 smithing, that only took a couple hours, not bad. So there's 82 smithing. I'm being incredibly lazy because we actually need 83. Dwarven stouts are dirt cheap and I want to start this as soon as possible. Okay, so what are we going to be doing? We are going to be crafting oath plate armor. This is a pretty high risk but absolutely insane skilling moneymaker that only requires 83 smithing and a kingdom divided and a pretty big cash stack to get started. So what we need to do is we're going to buy 450 oath plate shards. They're going for about 230 right now, which is just over 100 mil. Now to go with that, we're also going to buy some crushed infernal shale. We need about 2,500 of these. They're pretty cheap, so not super relevant, but about 1 mil in infernal shale. And now we just wait. So once we have some of the oath plate shards, we're going to come down to the infernal mine with a absolute butt ton of these dwarven stouts because this whole process takes 20 minutes. This is going to be really annoying, but hey, we're going to get smithing experience along the way. We'll get 84 eventually. So we have to hop back and forth between the smith and this ichor and craft a bunch of these infernal nuggets. Once we have 10 nuggets, we can smith them on the anvil to make an infernal plate. And then we just have to simply do that 9 times. Easy as that. Well, that took me about 20 minutes, okay. But we got 7% of the way to another smithing level, so we just have to do this like 15 times. Okay, the moment of truth. What piece of oath plate do we want to make? Looks like we actually want the helmet, which is kind of surprising. They're all the same price right now. But we're gonna do it. Look at this cutscene, it absolutely takes forever. Boom, there it is, an oath plate helmet. And we're gonna sell it back for about 112 mil. We had to lower it a little bit, but it's okay, because we still made about 3.5 mil. In 20 minutes, that is over 10 mil an hour. That's actually insane. Okay, this is gonna work, I think. Yes, yes. A solo purple, let's go. Just a casual 300. Post change too, so the drop rate is the exact same. Nothing's different. Come on, just take care of all my money problems right now, please. That's actually the worst one. That's worse than a light bear now. Okay, well, we just drank another 30 dwarven stouts to make this piece of armor, but hey, it's done. Now just checking the prices. This time, I think we're gonna make the chest plate. We'll probably end up making one of everything at this point. There we go, another 2k smithing experience for that piece. We're gonna drop this one in here for a bit shy of 112. Oh god, we're gonna make a big mistake at some point, aren't we? Okay, there we go, sold it for 111.9 mil, which is roughly about a 3 mil profit. Still looking at nearly 10 mil an hour right now. Okay, this time we are making the oath plate legs. From what I can tell, really you want to be making the chest or legs most of the time. The helm sometimes randomly spikes up, but has less demand overall. It's kind of crazy that they're all the same price. So this one's a little bit cleaner, we can see everything more directly. So we sold this for 110.1 mil. We bought all the shards for 105.3 mil and all the infernal shale for just above 1 mil. So that is a 3.6 mil profit. Easiest money in my life. There's another chest plate coming in. Also, we are now a third of the way to another smithing level, so we're literally going to get it eventually doing this, although kind of sick of drinking these dwarven stouts. This one's going in for 112. Okay, this one's actually massive. We got all the oath plate shards for 103 mil, which means this chest was a 5.4 mil profit for us in 20 minutes. That is 15 mil an hour. Okay, so just a few minutes later, we're able to make another oath plate chest. Once again, buying the shards for pretty cheap. We got them for, I think, 226k each. And we're going to try to sell our oath plate piece for 112 mil. That's actually crazy if that sells. That is a 6.4 mil profit in 20 minutes. We're up to almost 20 mil an hour right now. So we started at 100 mil and we're already up 36 mil from skilling. That's pretty unheard of. Okay, I think we caught this at a really good time because we just sold another oath plate leg for 113 mil while getting the shards for a hugely cheap price. Look, we bought like the bulk of them for 226k and like they immediately jumped up by 10k just because of how underpriced they were. These legs just netted us 7.5 mil. That's insane. So I don't really see a reason to stop doing this, so I'm not going to. This is a monumental day for Trader Steve. He can finally stop stout boosting for this stupid armor. We did an entire smithing level from 82 to 83 just making oath plate pieces, getting about 60, 70k per hour smithing experience, so it took a couple of hours, but honestly it wasn't that long. And from a singular smithing level, we made 84 mil. That's actually cracked. The most lucrative skilling method I've ever seen, honestly. Almost doubled our cash stack in just a couple of days. Okay, we cut that one a bit close, to be honest. It's just the life of having a Soul Reaper axe. There's always low HP. Okay, that's 2 to 3, I think? That means we only need, I think, one more piece, right? Man, it's been a pretty lucky month so far. Another purple in my name for a Fang, which honestly is pretty good these days. That is a 23 mil split or something. We'll take it. So just kind of generally, I've been trying to push the raid level up for Tombs of Mascot. With all the changes, the raid is just significantly easier. Still getting accustomed to it though. That was a 350. It took us almost 40 minutes though, so I think we need to practice a bit more. It shouldn't take that long. There is another Araxor task in the bin. You'll notice we have reset our task streak. I just didn't really care about Slayer points anymore. Mostly I just want good, profitable tasks. I don't care about the experience at all. The downside of that is we now have to do a little bit of tutorial skipping. which isn't my favorite, but I mean, if we get one Araxite task, it takes us like a month to do, so it's not the end of the world. 157 Hellhounds, okay, we'll do some Cerberus, I think. Okay, so here is the Cerberus setup, looking pretty solid, although there's one big item missing, and that is the Spectral Spirit Shield. Now, they did make some changes to Cerberus in the Summer Sweep Up, which allows you to stack both the effect of the Spectral Spirit Shield and Ward of Arceus for, I think, like a 80% prayer save rate. And the Spectral honestly isn't too expensive, only 45 mil, which granted is not my cheapest item, but I'm gonna use it, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it for 45 mil, honestly. I'd rather get a usable item than like a Wyvern Visage or something, which doesn't do anything for me. Okay, we're able to snag it for 45 mil, and that is another item on our list. For now though, we're gonna keep all our chunks bankrolled for the Delve boss, so that's +1. Okay, so they made some changes to Cerberus, and I like them. First up, look, we just got 7 Keymaster teleports in a single drop, and they're tradable now, so we never have to run back here ever again. Even if they weren't tradable, we'd pretty easily be able to sustain Keymaster teleports. They drop in such bulk. Although for the first week, they weren't dropping at all, so once they actually put them on the drop table, we'll be able to sustain them. Oh my god, another one! I think our account seed is good. I've gotten way more primordials than anything else, which is perfect. Keep them coming, Jagex. It can't do it that fast though, what the? There's literally 4 messages in the clan chat between these drops, and one of them is mine. Okay, Cerberus is good. That was an insane Cerberus task. I also really like the changes as well. I mean, I don't think they were supposed to change the drop rate, but it looks like they did. Okay, that took a long time. We did like 30 or 40 Turiel skips. There it is though, Araxites, we will do that. Oh, beautiful, 2 primordial crystals. Just an easy 50 mil task. Bringing us up to 233 mil, including the Spectral we just bought, so we would have been at 270. We are raking in the money, honestly. Okay, so something that's been bothering me for a little while is we don't have an occult altar in our house. For a long time we couldn't get it because we didn't have the Arceus spellbook, but now we do. I think it's time we upgrade. We have a lot of money though, so this isn't really breaking the bank too much here. There it is, occult altar. We can switch between all 3 spellbooks at our convenience. House is looking nice. Oh, I didn't even notice. Little noxious point just slipped into my inventory. That's kind of huge though, because that is our 3rd piece, which means we finished our 3rd noxious halberd, I'm pretty sure. Araxor has kind of just quietly become our most farmed Slayer boss by a pretty big margin. We're getting pretty close to 2,000 kills there. Do I like Araxor that much? Not really, but this is the most profitable Slayer boss in the game right now. Take our 3 items and smush them together, and we got another noxious halberd. And this one is probably going to be the most expensive one we're able to sell. The halberd was comically underrated at first, including by myself, but now the price has kind of caught up to it. This one is worth a pretty hefty 45 mil. Woohoo, another pretty big chunk of change coming in, bringing us up to nearly 300 mil. Another blade, oh my god. I will say we had gone almost 1,000 kills without getting any piece of the halberd, which is kind of crazy. So we're kind of catching up. That said, we greenlogged Araxor 500 kills ago, so no complaints here. So once again, because we still got a couple weeks until the Delve boss, I'm gonna buy an item that's not strictly my cheapest option, but something I've wanted for a while, and that is a Voidwaker. Mostly I want this for TOA, but it would come in handy other places as well. And it's fallen to 63 mil, so it's just a pretty good deal for a very powerful spec weapon. So we're gonna pick one up. We still have well over 200 mil to work with, and that is another item added to our list as well, so it's still unlocking us some chunks, and now we have bankrolled 2 of them. That was really close, but we did it. We did a 400. The Voidwaker actually did come in handy quite a lot. Luckily, we somehow didn't get to the last row at barely at all. We actually nuked Warden. Now that we have the yellow gem, it feels like we can actually push farther into TOA. So Delve is coming out pretty soon now, and it's time to kind of start spending some of this money. Now I thought about just holding the money literally until the update day, which is kind of smarter, but more realistically, when I wake up at 3 AM, I don't really want to fumble around trying to figure out what items to buy, instantly buying items and losing money on that. So we're gonna actually pre-purchase some items so that we don't have to do that. Looking at the list here, everything is expensive, but we're gonna put an offer in for our cheapest item right now, which is the Third Age Mage Hat. 23 mil for that guy. We'll also put an offer in for the Wyvern Visage. Yeah, it's time. This is the epitome of bank trash, but well, it did insta-buy at least, so we'll take that. After that, we're gonna get the usable version of that, which is the Ancient Wyvern Shield. Honestly, it's about as useful as the Visage, but that's okay. We'll try to buy the Ancient Hilt, I suppose. The Justiciar Armor Set, and finally we'll put an offer in for the Nightmare Staff. We're kind of lowballing these items a little bit because we have some time, might as well try to get the best deal possible. So we had 3 of the items come through. We also did a cheeky little Oathplate combination. Still works, even though the pieces have fallen so much. So we snagged the Mage Hat, the Visage, and the Nightmare Staff. The Nightmare Staff at least is a good item for us. The Nightmare Staff does have uses. Mainly if we want to do Inferno again or something, I don't know. The hat looks just atrocious, so oh my goodness. Alright, we're checking that in the bank. Okay, our final 2 items did eventually come through. We got the Ancient Wyvern Shield and the Third Age Range Legs. Man, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Look at those pantaloons, holy. Bringing us up to 7 bankrolled items. Okay, so we are looking at Varlamore right now. I'm kind of just mapping out the chunks. It looks like there's going to be 9 in the Talati Rainforest, plus all of Auburnvale. There's the Custodia Mountains. There's a lot of new chunks with Varlamore, plus the entire southern section we haven't unlocked at all. And we compare that to the items we're going to get with this update. Most likely, we're only getting 3 new items I can add to the list, those being the Eye of Ak, the Confliction Gauntlets, and the Avernic Treads. So with that in mind, I'm going to add on a few more items that I've been pondering about for a while, just to kind of keep up with chunk inflation, I'm going to call it. So the items we're going to add are the Dual Mechahuedl, which are nearly a 10 mil item, and the Elemental Fire and Ice Staff, the 2 components of the Twin Flame. Those are the 3 most expensive items I didn't have on the list yet, and this will help offset the massive new area we're getting with Varlamore. So we're going to snag those 3 items, and with that, we have now bankrolled 10 chunks for the update. I hope that's enough, because I really want to do Delve Boss on day 1. If it's not, we're going to be sad. I could see it taking more, I could see it taking less. Only time will tell. But I think we're as prepared as we realistically can be, and we have a bit of cash just in case we need an item on the day. But this is the opportunity for us to make some actual serious money. I thought that was going to be the case with Yama, but it didn't really turn out that well. So maybe Trader Steve's actual moment is the Doom Boss. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you next time, and we'll see how the Delve Boss goes.